It's the 18th of June, and this is JAGraphics reporting for Tamworth Informed. This morning I'm talking to Jenny Pinkett, who is the local Lib Dem candidate for the general election. Good morning, Jenny.
Morning.
One or two questions we'd like to ask this morning, if that's all right with you.
Absolutely fine.
Have you recovered after the general election?
It always takes a day or two to come to because you're so tired. You can't actually sleep. So but yes, I have recovered and I've started doing housework again and gardening and all the things that have got left behind.
Glad to hear that. After this election, we can see that the Lib Dems have increased their seats.
Yeah.
There have been a few changes recently, obviously. Do you feel that at the moment, after the coalition, the Lib Dems have actually been forgiven?
They've probably been forgiven quite a bit. I think especially as we're having prominent Conservative MPs now saying that the period of coalition was a strong, stable government during a period of economic crisis. And I think, judging by the huge number of members that have joined in recent times, thousands have joined in during this campaign, yes, they're ready to take the party forward.
Good. Recently, I heard Jeremy Corbyn say that politics is changing. Do you think this is correct?
I think politics is constantly changing, constantly fluid, and should constantly change. If it doesn't change, then it's not listening to the people, it's not looking at the economic environment in which the country has to exist. So if politics doesn't change, then that's very sad. And I think there's evidence of that from the referendum vote that the people didn't feel that politicians had listened to them and perhaps hadn't changed enough or moved in the direction that people wanted to go, hadn't listened to their voice. So yes, if it doesn't change, then politics is dead in the water.
Obviously at the moment the Lib Dems are in a slight change of situation with the resignation of Tim Farron. Do you actually think he resigned at the correct time?
I think a lot of people will think it was very unfortunate at a time of so much sorrow in London, such a dreadful day, that it probably wasn't the best timing. And I think in retrospect we'll look back at that and think that. Whether that was, I don't think that was deliberate. I think that was just purely as it happened and the emotion of the moment and the personal struggle and difficulty he had.
Do you have a person in mind that you'd like to see become the new leader? I'm not asking specifically,
No, I mean, I actually voted for Norman Lamb in the last leadership contest, but then I've actually never voted for a leader that's won. I didn't vote for Paddy, I didn't vote for Charles, and I didn't vote for Nick Clegg. So I've never actually got it right. But I do think Norman Lamb is a great statesman. I think his stand on mental health within the coalition government, I don't think the Conservatives would have recognised the importance of mental health being on par with, physical health, had it not been for the tremendous work of Norman Lamb. So I think he would be great. I think Jo Swinson's a good girl. She was out of politics for a little while and has now been re-elected in Scotland, and certainly she's a very capable young woman. I think could take us forward. And everybody, of course, knows Vince Cable. But Vince has always said he would never stand for leadership. So I don't know whether that will still apply. Vince is a great economist and had a life before politics. So I think he's a trusted voice in the media.
Perhaps somebody that's stable and secure.
Yes, I think so. And we do need that, but then I think leaders do need to change from time to time. It has to reflect what the members want. It has to reflect their own needs in life. It's a tremendous burden being a leader because it's just a day-to-day MP will make enormous sacrifices of family life. You don't really have a life as a politician in power.
Does a political leader's strongly held personal belief affect their position when it differs from the party policy?
The short answer to that is absolutely no, because I would think there are 650 odd MPs in Parliament and they will all have some sort of personal opinion or belief about something that differs from the party. I think probably what you're getting at here is Tim's conflict as a Christian and Jeremy Corbyn's commitment to pacifism. Will they affect their judgment when it comes to making big decisions in Parliament? I still think the short answer is absolutely no. And I love Jeremy Corbyn's answer. I love Jeremy Corbyn's answer to Jeremy Paxman when Jeremy quizzed him on his attitude towards the monarchy, because he's obviously Jeremy Corbyn's a Republican, and Jeremy Corbyn's answer was, is it in our manifesto? Is it, is that what we are going to try to put through Parliament? So, I feel actually very, very sorry for Tim. I know he upset some members of our own party by perhaps trying to avoid a direct answer to the question. But your personal moral beliefs, what you believe is a sin, is between you and your God. And it doesn't really make any difference to how you are in Parliament. And I would have liked every member of Parliament to be asked the same question. We have a committed Christian Prime Minister in Theresa May, was never asked the same question, was never put through the type of pressure that Tim was put through. And I think he was deeply saddened by that.
Knowing that traditionally Tamworth has either been Labour quite strongly or Conservative quite strongly, why did the Liberal Democrats feel that it was important that they stood in 2017?
Well, there's one simple word answer to that, is purely democracy. The Liberal Democrat beliefs are very strongly different to both Labour and Conservative, what is in their manifestos. And although Andrew Hammond indicated that I had admitted I can't win, I don't think it was actually quite like that. I said, well, it's unlikely that I would win, but I'm always on the mere basis that, we haven't had a strong vote here. But we have had 16% vote in this constituency. We have growing membership, and I believe that the Liberal Democrat voice should be heard. And the only opportunity really that the media give us is during a general election. So I hope that just by standing, it bodes well for the future. As you asked me earlier, politics is a constantly changing thing, and we need to reflect what people want. Now, if Liberal Democrats haven't got that right in the past, we must move forward and we'll get it right for the future. But we need to have a democratic voice, and we need to give those people out there the opportunity to vote.
Quite simply now, do you think this election has been about Brexit?
Well, I'll answer this first by saying it's common knowledge that the Liberal Democrats feel very strongly that the voice of the 48% that voted against Brexit should have a voice, and it was such a narrow thing nationally, and that we are very concerned about what might be negotiated on the part of everyone, especially where it comes to Northern Ireland and Scotland, where the population, a huge majority, voted to remain in. But actually, I don't think the actual election turned out to be about Brexit. I think it turned out to be much more about social justice, really, and whether the austerity package that we've had for years now should continue. And I think that although I would challenge the costing on the Labour manifesto, I think Lib Dem costings in their manifesto were much more realistic I do believe that we have to invest in our country, invest in our people, give people hope. And it's the message of hope, I think, that has come through this election far more clearly than anything to do with Europe.
Jenny Pinkett, Liberal Democrat, thank you very much for your time this morning.
Thank you.
This is JAGraphics for Tamworth Informed.